Welcome back to the Nuzlocke, the series where for every video I beat one Pokemon game with my crazy rule set. If you're new, the series playlist is in the description, as well as the video dedicated to explaining the rule set of this series. And today we are on Leg 5, Pokemon Silver, with our 6 team members: Star Platinum Jr., Ronaldo II, Quandale II, Jonah Hill III, Slicer X V, and an egg. Of course, that couldn't be anyone else but the one and only Light V. These Johto games are action-packed and almost entirely focused on battles due to us having to squeeze in 16 badges and red, so I'm gonna get right into the video, but one more thing. Thanks for all the support I've been getting recently. Now, I know those words can lose meaning hearing them YouTuber after YouTuber, but as a small YouTuber myself, and with one of my main goals to be building a community, I really appreciate the comments more than anything. Link in description. Also, check to see if you're subscribed. It means a lot to me and it's a huge motivator to make bigger and better stuff. Please, I have to pay for college. Anyway, without further delay, here's the items I use, and let's hop right into Saga 2, Leg 5 of the Nuzlocke, Pokemon Silver. Hope you enjoy. Before me and my squad head out to conquer Johto a second time, we watched some weirdo catch a dying fish, then caught a Dunsparce in this cave over here, since Zubat and Geodude were already taking encounters. We made our way to Sprout Tower to train for our first gym battle. After beating up his baby trainer Idiot Boys, I took on the head honcho and his street pigeons. I give his Pidgey a controlled shock, and it retaliates with a competent Mud Slap. I finish the job and try and Thunder Wave Pidgeotto, but fail and my Pichu almost gets bodied, so we switch to Quandale, who loses half their health to a crit tackle, and retaliates with a Supersonic. We manage to get 2 hits in a row from Confusion as we switch to Slicer X and begin to spam Scratch to take down Faulkner. With a final Scratch, we finish off the battle and win our first badge. We take an egg from the scientist and threw it in the box because fuck them kids, and then we used my Bat and Fire Lizard to terrorize some school kids and the bugs they caught. After wiping through them, their alpha male leader challenged me and told me to stop lighting bugs on fire, but I refused, so we had to duke it out. We one-shot his Metapod, and so we sent out the big gun Scyther, so being a member of Gen Z, I pulled out my trusty vape and blew some clouds until Scyther couldn't land enough Fury attack to do any meaningful damage, so we used Ember and then switched out to Light, because he was doing surprisingly hefty damage still. So we paralyzed and switched out to everyone's favorite early game tank Kabuto and started spamming Scratch until Scyther fell to its distant cousin. Then Kakuna sweeped my team. Just kidding, we took it down with a few scratches. Jonah Hill evolved. Wow. Whitney was up next, but I was not concerned in the slightest, because this time we had... And upon leveling up the team for this upcoming battle, we also discovered Wooper evolves at level 20, which is crazy, because Quagsire is super strong, and we're an early game. So I was actually excited to fight Whitney. We hop right into the fight, and you slam on Clefairy with Ronaldo. Clefairy slaps us around, but we miss a slam, allowing Clefairy to meditate and reach Nirvana. So we help her reach the spirit world with another slam. Miltank's up next, and we implement the next part of our strategy. Random bullshit. Let's go. We start spamming Flash, blinding the cow beyond repair, and call forth our stand. We land a Karate Chop and are countered with a Stomp. We land another Karate Chop and Whitney panics and starts spamming Milk Drink, but it's no use because no amount of calcium will be enough to defend yourself against... Finally take down Whitney. Deathless and flawless. We did some major running to boost the friendship of Light and Quandale and evolved Light into a Pikachu and Quandale into a Golbat. We challenge Morty and it's Light against Ghastly. We use Thunderbolt to sweep Ghastly and Haunter, and then we paralyze Gengar. Then we switch to Quandale, get a flinch bite, confuse Gengar, get a confusion hit, and finish off Gengar with a bite. Haunter comes out last and we use a Confuse Ray. It hits itself in confusion and we get it to a Sliver with bite. It wastes its turn with a Spite, and we use bite. Me and Light hit a clip on these e-girls in a dance theater and get a cool HM as a prize. Then hit a clip on Shiny Gyarados because, I don't know, it's the plot or something. Oh yeah, then Team Rocket was up to some devious activities I didn't really care about, though. They were all super weak, but, you know, some easy battles never hurt anyone. And we evolved Star Platinum into Machoke. But back to the gyms. We evolved Quandale into his final form, and we faced off against Bryce and trade some blows with Seal, landing a burn in the process and getting the KO. We then switched to Light for Dugong. We hit a TB and Land Paralysis, heal up, and KO Dugong with some more Thunderbolts. We switched to Star Platinum for Pillow Swine, and we land a critical Karate Chop for the Oko. We then make our way to, I don't know, the Lighthouse Town, Steel Woman City. And then we make our way down to Chuck and face off against his Giga Monkey. And we lead with... Agility? Yeah, let me explain. I was doing some speed up function battles and I wasn't paying attention because my dog Sweetie Bear off some of the early game battles since it felt like such a brand new experience. I mean, how many people get to use Grimer in Viridian Forest before fighting Brock? Anyway, after going through the team's first training session in the woods, was interrupting me, and I lost Thunderbolt, and upon checking online, we weren't gonna get a new attacking move until about level 40. Yeah, Sweetie has been trying to end Nuzlocke since she watched episode 1. That being said, just because Light couldn't attack, that did not mean she couldn't still carry her weight. We started the battle with a charm, which turned Primeape's Karate Chop into a Nothing Burger. We used Thunder Wave and get a successful turn of paralysis, allowing us to switch out. They take a Fury Swipes and hit back with a huge damage Karate Chop. Primeape uses Leer and we finished off with another Karate Chop. Poliwrath comes out and we switch back to Light. We get put to sleep and I switch out to Quandale. And Poliwrath surprisingly lands a dynamic punch, but it does very little damage, but we get confused. Thankfully, Quandale lands a Confuse Ray, putting us on an even battlefield again. Quandale chugs a Surf and hits himself in confusion. Quandale gets hit again and then we have to switch out. Tensions are getting high, and we couldn't let things get any worse. So we sent back out Star Platinum. Tanks a Surf, and hits back with a Karate Chop. We dodge a Hypnosis, land a Leer, and Star Platinum gets a deadly hit from a dynamic punch, bringing us near death, as well as confusing us. Without much of a choice, I switch to Ronaldo and dodge another Hypnosis and start spamming Flash. Poliwrath uses Mind Reader though, a scarily good move in this situation. Getting desperate to do damage, I use Whirlpool to get some chip damage done over time. Poliwrath puts us to sleep. After a few turns of staying asleep, Whirlpool had done some decent damage, but Ronaldo was in rough shape from a few surfs. We use our one healing item on Ronaldo and hit a surf, before dodging an enemy surf and finishing off the battle with one more surf. Then we took some medicine back to the lighthouse and cured Ampharos of, COVID. Ligma. Grimace Shake. I don't know, pick your buzzword and laugh. We made our way to Jasmine and proceeded to have the most boring battle of my life. She had 3 Pokemon, 2 being Magnemite, and it took 4 Earthquakes to win the battle. That's really all there is to know. I just saved you some precious time of your lifespan. You know, go spend that time, go outside, go frolic in a field, play in a stream, or volunteer for your local community. Once you've done that, timestamp this and tell me what studious and righteous activities you got done with all that time I saved you from TLDRing this battle. Upon preparing for our final Johto Gym battle, we did some boulder puzzles, fought some dragon trainers, and evolved Jonah Hill, Star Platinum, and Slicer X into their final forms. Ready for anything, we go into battle with the Dragon Prodigy Claire, sending out the menace himself, Slicer X, with Icy Wind. The Oko, her first Dragonair with a crit. The next Dragonair comes out, and we get a second crit in a row, also Okoing this Dragonair. The third Dragonair comes out, doesn't get crit, and throws out a Thunder Wave, which Slicer X dodges and lands a finishing Icy Wind. The luck was insane, and Claire was already down to her ace. She sent out a Kingdra, and we try our luck with an Icy Wind and do very little damage. And Kingdra strikes back with a pretty strong Surf. We then try and Absorb, which does literally nothing, and upon taking another Surf, we realize Slicer X has pushed his luck. We switch to Ronaldo, who tanks a Surf and lands a Flash. We land another Flash while Kingdra misses 2 smoke screens in a row, and we switch to Quandale, who confuses Kingdra. We land a Fly while Kingdra keeps spamming and failing smoke screens, and with another Fly, we conclude the battle and make our way onto the Pokemon League. We make our way through a cave to the league, and our rival stops us for some reason. I honestly don't know why he challenges us to a battle, but he must have not known who he was messing with, because the one and only Jonah Hill comes out into the battlefield and decimates his Sneasel with a flamethrower. We switch to Slicer X for Golbat, miss an Icy Wind, get confused, and break through for the Oko anyway. Next up, our newly evolved comes out and one-shots Magneton. Then we switch to Ronaldo to Oko Kadabra and Typhlosion. Hunter comes out and lands a curse on itself, allowing us to easily take it out with Jonah Hill, easily winning us the battle. After some preparation, we head into the Elite Four. Firstly, facing Will. We send out Slicer X, who does huge damage with an Icy Wind, who then gets hit by a Psychic. Doing surprisingly little damage though, so we finish off Xatu with another Icy Wind. The same thing happens with Exeggutor. We tank a Psychic and take it down with 2 Icy hits. We switch to Ronaldo while Slowbro sets up Amnesia. I figured our best plan was to spam Flash while it's set up, so it couldn't use any of the attacks it boosted itself for. We take a few Psychics, but ultimately have to switch out to Jonah Hill. Spam many smoke screens before also having to switch out to Light, who dodges a Body Slam and lands a Thunder, paralyzing Slowbro in the process. Geez, watching this back, I'm realizing how much my team actually bullied this Slowbro for no reason. Oh my god. With a final Thunder, Slowbro falls, and we switch to Jonah Hill for Jinx, who falls to a Flamethrower. We throw out a couple smoke screens for Xatu, and land a crit Fly, ending the battle. Next up is the world's worst ninja, Koga, who gets his Ariados one-shot by Jonah Hill's Flamethrower, and his Muck, Venomoth, and Fortress decimated by Ronaldo's Earthquake. Crobat's out last, and we get it low with a couple Surfs while it hits back and lands a Toxic, so we switch out to Slicer X. Koga uses this as an opportunity to use a full restore, and then hits a double team. We land a couple Icy Winds and bring it down to the red while it does very little damage in return, and we finish it off with a Slash. Then we start off the battle with Bruno with Crobat versus Hitmontop, and we fall for the same trick we fell for last episode, with him spamming Quick Attack and then Detect whenever we use Fly. But thankfully, after landing a Confuse Ray and hurting himself in confusion, our Fly lands, and Onix comes out. Ronaldo comes out with a Sandstorm, Onix sets up, and we one-shot with Surf. Hitmonlee's up next, and we start spamming Flash to cripple this sweeper so we don't lose anyone important. After sufficient blinding, Jonah Hill comes out and KOs using a Fly. Landing another Fly, we get a crit Oko, finishing off Hitmonchan, and Machamp comes out next. I predict a Rock Slide, and we switch out to who tanks it as both Machamps go for Cross Chop. We miss ours, but theirs lands, doing huge damage. I switch to Ronaldo, who after losing half their HP to a Cross Chop, misses a Flash, but thankfully dodges the next Cross Chop. We land Flash, but get hit with another Cross Chop, bringing us near death. I heal up, we land a few more Flashes, and then we switch to Quandale, who flies, helping us miss a Rock Slide, and KOs Bruno's ace. Finally, for the Elite Four, it's Karen the Dark-type wielder, and it's Umbreon versus Star Platinum. A couple Karate Chops KOs Umbreon with no issue, and Vileplume comes out. We do some damage with Strength, but get paralyzed, and huge damage starts getting done to us through Petal Dance. We get one more Strength out and switch to Jonah Hill, who easily secures the takedown with a Flamethrower. Gengar's up next, and we land a Smokescreen while Gengar takes half of its HP for a Curse. Use Fly, take some Curse damage, dodge a Lick, and KO Gengar. Murkor's up next, and we take some more Curse damage in the air as we land another Fly. We take even more Curse damage and have a huge scare as Murkrow lands a Feint Attack. Jonah Hill barely clings on though, and we switch to Slicer X for an easy KO. Houndoom's out next, and we do most of its health with a Slash. We take a Crunch and land another Slash as Houndoom heals up. One more Slash, the battle is won. And here we were, back at Lance's room, the only man standing between us and our Kanto victory lap to Red. Because, let's face it, Kanto is kind of a cakewalk. We walk up to the true Dragon Master and get our strategy in order. And by that I mean Slicer X and Light, because their whole team is an ode to skill issue against electric and ice types. We send out our Pikachu, I hate you Lastana, I hate you, against Gyarados and OK with Thunder. Dragonite 1 is up next, and Slicer X eats a Hyper Beam like it's nothing and KOs with a couple Icy Winds. Dragonite 2 comes out and survives an Icy Wind to hit us with Thunder Wave, successfully blocking us attacking. It strikes with another Dollar Store Hyper Beam, and we secure the KO regardless. Dragonite 3 sets up a Safeguard, and we hit our usual big damage with an Icy Wind. Dragonite uses Outrage, but we manage to break through Paralysis and finish off the final Dragonite. Switch to Ronaldo for Aerodactyl, and we dodge a Rock Slide, tank a Hyper Beam, and KO with 2 Surfs. Charizard's up last, but no amount of Hyper Beams could prepare it for the everlasting spout of pressurized water that was Ronaldo II's gullet. The champion falls, and we sit in the Hall of Fame, resting briefly before we continue our gauntlet. Alright, so you may have seen my last video. I mean, I hope you've seen my last video. I mean, like, we're kind of on episode 5 of the series, so I would hope you've seen my last video. But anyway, if you've seen my last video, it's gonna be kind of like that. We're just gonna touch up on the Kanto battles, and I may not even go into detail for some of them, because to be honest, it's all just one big victory lap after defeating the Johto League, and it's good XP for Red. So with that being said, we made our way to Surge and spammed Earthquake until we won. Sabrina's next, and we slash away Espeon with Slicer X. We land a couple more slashes on Mr. Mime, but he manages to set up a barrier and save himself with a baton past Alakazam. He sets up Reflect, and we manage to just get a single flash off at the cost of almost losing Ronaldo to Psychic. This Alakazam was a huge threat to the run, as it had huge defense boost as well as Reflect. I switched to Jonah Hill and used Smokescreen to further drop accuracy. We trade some hits, and both Jonah Hill and Alakazam get each other low through clashing flamethrowers and psychics. But we use our healing item and switch to Slicer X, who we almost lose to a psychic, but our final slash connects, allowing us to walk away with a brand new badge. Swept Erica with flamethrowers. Enough said. Boga Jr.'s up next, and we one-shot Crobat with Thunder, and then sweep the rest of the team with Ronaldo's Earthquake. We then equip our Giga Drain TM we got from Erica to Slicer X, and challenged Misty, who loses her Golduck to Thunder, and then her Quagsire, Starmie, and Lapras to our new move. After dealing with Brock's little fanboy, we face him head-on with Star Platinum leading the fight, and yeah, it's a sweep. We then almost sweeped Blaine, but Ronaldo couldn't handle it, so we finished it off with Slicer X. Not a really exciting battle when you have two quad-resistant, tanky gentlemen on the front lines, but what are you gonna do? Our final challenge before Red was Blue, who I've never really understood. Why is he a gym leader? And why does he not have, like, a gym team? Is this an unofficial match? Why am I getting a badge for it? Am I breaking the law? Anyway, we ice you in Pidgeot and get some damage on Executor, but switch to Jonah Hill to tank Solar Beam. We KO with Fly, and Rhydon's out next, who's met by Slicer X. Rhydon switched out, so we end up hitting Alakazam with our Giga Drain instead, but we KO with 2 more slashes, taking hefty damage in the process. Rhydon's actually out this time and realizes they cannot escape the inevitable and accept their fate. Now that Slicer X was tremendously healed from its fresh meal, it was ready to rip and tear at Arcanine. But it could only get a single slash in before it was roared off the battlefield and switched in for Quandale. Quandale lands a Confuse Ray and then gets hit by Flamethrower. We use Fly and dodge an incoming attack, and we land some pretty big damage on Arcanine. We get hit by another Flamethrower, bringing us low, but one more Fly and the win is ours. However, Arcanine decides to use Extreme Speed, knocking Quandale down to 2 HP. But thankfully, we managed to secure the KO regardless, and Quandale narrowly survives. Gyarados is up last, and of course, we OHKO with Light's Thunder, winning us our final badge of the leg. And honestly, that close call made me realize we have had a lot of close calls this run. I've gotten unlucky and I've made some stupid decisions, but either way, the RNG gods must be smiling down upon me or something, because we have had a lot of close calls and 0 deaths so far, so I was pretty satisfied. I made the long journey to and through Mount Silver, and I was ready for my rematch with Red. We had a terrible string of bad luck last leg, losing many friends, old and new, along the way, but this leg was different. We had changed and grew as a team and had incredible synergy. I made my way up to the final stretch of the mountain, and after making sure my team was ready and tweaking some moves, we challenged Red. Pikachu's out first, and I lead with Slicer X, who we had just taught Ancient Power. My plan was to spam it to hopefully get some stat boosts. We OK Pikachu with an Ancient Power, and out comes Espeon. We land another one, bringing it to low yellow and having all of our stats boosted. Red sees this and sets up a Reflect, but we finish Espeon off with another Ancient Power. Venusaur's out next, and we use our boosted stats and humongous guts to not switch out and instead hit Venusaur with Icy Wind. We do big damage, and Venusaur charges for a Solar Beam. So we use that to our advantage and secure the KO with another Icy Wind. Snorlax is next, and we use Ancient Power, doing an okay amount of damage while Snorlax sets up Amnesia. Reflect fades, and we land another Ancient Power, putting Snorlax into the red. We brush off a Body Slam, but get paralyzed. Realizing we ran out of Ancient Power PP, I try to finish off Snorlax with a Giga Drain, but he holds on and uses Rest, healing all the way back up to full. After getting hit with Snore, he strikes back with a Slash, and then another. Snorlax wakes up, but it's too late, and we KO with one more Slash. Next is Blastoise, who tries to scare us with a Surf. But Slicer X and I have found our resolve, and have come too far to back down. We land a Giga Drain, taking over half of Blastoise's health. We tank 2 Surfs thanks to Paralysis, but land our final Giga Drain against Blastoise and KO. Charizard's up last. We tank a crit Flamethrower and land a Slash. The Slash is a critical hit, and we defeat Red's final Pokemon in a single hit, winning us the leg. I was so shocked. This leg was incredible. We had many laughs, awesome sweeps, and incredible moments, and we may not have been able to evolve Light into a Raichu, and we had many too close for comfort moments, but we had not lost a single Pokemon this leg, and to put the icing on the cake, we defeated Red with a single Pokemon. We gave 3 cheers for Slicer X, and then headed off to our final mission of the saga. It was time to beat Pokemon Crystal. Long live Slicer X.